Hi everyone, this is Professor Huang. Today I would like to use this opportunity to demonstrate how to use Excel to create frequency distribution table. The data file we're going to use is essentially based on page 39, the soft drink example. First of all, how do you find the data? And let me return the page back to the student view. So what you see is like this. In here, under getting started, you're going to see Excel data files associated with chapters. So click that. It says open with Windows Explorer. So I click that. Then you can see all the data files associated with this textbook. It has been put in here. By the way, in your case studies and all other assignments, the data file could be found uh, via this method. So click chapter 2 and find the soft drink data file. So this is the data file. Let's open this data file. So what you're going to see is the soft drinks. They are 5 brand, and they are total about they are about 50 observations. So let's create the table as if uh, create the table exactly as page 39. So first of all, let's tap soft drink, and I would like to copy the soft drink brand and paste over here. The reason I don't want to tap is because I worry about what if I make mistake by mistap one single item, then the Excel would identify this file, this particular brand. So once that's done, let me highlight this. Okay, then I want to use a Excel function to demonstrate how to get the frequency distribution. So this is what you have, frequency, and the function I'm using is called CONT-IF function. CONT-IF function can basically ask you to select the data range, which is A2 to A51. So I got all the data range identified. And then the criteria means that when if the Excel found out any observation which has the similar spell, like in this cell C2, let's say Coca-Cola, if it has this exact same text, then it count as one observation, and then Excel can automatically use this function to identify how many similar Coca-Cola observations exist among this data file. So that essentially gives you an answer, 19. However, that's not the end of the story. If you notice, if you read the page 39, you're going to notice that before this column and also before this the row, they has dollar sign inserted before that. The dollar sign in Excel essentially is designed to fix the range of the data so that when you copy the formula and paste to the other cells, this data range won't be changed. So let's do that. By the way, there's a shortcut existing for you to insert dollar sign. If you have F4 key on your keyboard, F4, then you can press that. Automatically, it should add the dollar sign before the column and the row. So let's press enter, and now we are ready to copy the formula and paste to the other cells. We can we essentially duplicate what we observed on page 39. The next issue is if you turn to next page, we can actually also create the relative frequency as well as the percentage frequency. Before we get the relative frequency, we have to do a summation. So let's do total observations and do a summation. Alright, it tells me that we have 50 total observations, and then the relative frequency is essentially using 19 divided by the total number of observations. For the same reason, the total number of observations does not change, so I actually want to fix it. And return and copy the formula to the end. And so it automatically generates the relative frequency for each type of brand. The percentage frequency, relatively speaking, is simple, using the relative frequency times 100. So copy the formula, paste it. Again, you can double check whether you get everything right or not by doing a summation of the relative frequency, and if it shows equals to 1, then it means that's correct. And this formula is we can do the same thing for summation for the percentage frequency, and my goal is that it equals to 100, and so that essentially duplicate the result on page 39 and 40. Thank you for watching, and we're going to see you soon. Bye.